Hello friends, this is Makbul from Toronto. Many people want to move to Canada but they are unaware of the reality of living there. Today we will highlight the challenges faced by people in Canada due to high cost of living and financial pressures. After this, you should decide whether you should move to Canada or not. In Canada, inflation has broken its 40 years record. Many people have already left Canada and the unemployment rate here has skyrocketed. People have no jobs and are wandering aimlessly on the streets. They are up outside government offices and NGOs for food with no jobs or work in sight. If a job opening is announced at one place, you will receive thousands of CVs. People will line up waiting for a job and return home disappointed after a whole day. If the government does not provide assistance and welfare funds for children, around 70% of the people here would leave Canada immediately. Currently, around 2 million people are unemployed, and this ratio is increasing rapidly every year. For 70% of the population, buying a house has become impossible. Even if you do buy a house, you will have to pay installments for the next 30 years. If you are not careful, even your next generation will be burdened with debt. And if you want to rent a place, the rent is so high that it's unimaginable. Despite all this, I'm astonished that people, especially from India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, and Sri Lanka, are lining up in large numbers outside Canadian embassies to obtain visas, and thousands of applications are being received every year. People have no idea what will happen to them in the future. When they arrive and see the reality, their eyes are opened in shock. No doubt, Canada has an abundance of natural resources like coal, natural gas, petroleum, and uranium. Despite having an abundance of natural resources and significant investments in them, the job market is extremely limited. There are very few industries that produce goods. Most of the products come from other countries, mainly from United States, Mexico, and China. The real estate business is booming, which is a major reason for the high unemployment rate. Investors prefer to put their money into real estate rather than setting up industries. In these circumstances, how will jobs be created? Some industries have shifted to Mexico because labor costs are significantly lower there. People don't want to stay in Canada for long because their main object is to obtain PR or citizenship and then move to another country, especially US. Canada is currently experiencing extreme poverty. People are struggling to make ends meet and provide for their basic needs. An apartment that cost $900 in 2017 now costs $2,200. If you want a 2 or 3 bedroom apartment, the price will be around $2,600. Additionally, you will have to pay for car insurance, utility bills, and gas. After all these expenses, you will be left with nothing. In this country, the average income ranges from $3,000 to $5,000. Taxes are not only deducted from your income, but are also imposed on groceries and almost every essential item. Even if you work 24 hours a day, you still would not be able to cover all the expenses here. This is precisely why 63% of the people here do not own their own homes. Students coming from Asian countries think they can easily make a living by working part-time jobs, but unfortunately, they become disillusioned after arriving here. This is because they can't find jobs due to intense competition, as there are too many people and too few job opportunities and hardly any business prospects. If you really want to go to Canada, you should have a unique skill set that very few people possess. If you only have basic qualifications, you will regret moving to Canada. The crime rate in this country has increased significantly. After 2020, car thefts and robberies have become commonplace here. The biggest issue is the healthcare system, which is supposedly world-renowned for being excellent. However, the reality is quite different. If you visit a hospital, you will have to wait for 6 to 8 hours or even 10 hours to see a doctor. Even if you have a broken bone or have had a heart attack, you would not receive immediate attention. And if you need surgery or want to consult a specialist, you will have to wait for 3 months to get an appointment. You will have to endure your suffering for that long. Canada currently is not what we thought it was or what it used to be. Canada is rapidly declining and is now among the countries that are falling behind the wealthy nations. Due to Canada's poor condition, Trump has openly expressed his intention to make it the 51st state. This is why Justin Trudeau has resigned from his prime ministership, because he knows that if America withdraws its support, it will become difficult for Canadians to survive.